Arizona Cardinals. So everyone's picking the Arizona Cardinals to pick him. Do you think that they would trade up to get him? Like, do you think that because their big missing piece is going to be, at least on the offense, is going to be finding a wide receiver to kind of take over for like.
The good thing for the Chargers, though, is this is the deepest wide receiver draft in memory, and you can probably have one in the second round.
Gotcha.
So even if Harrison's gone, that would be interesting, right? So let's assume that quarterbacks go top 3. Arizona, that would be a tough decision between the best tackle and the best wide receiver. I mean, both of them are slated and can't miss. So let's just use that as our assumption. What would you rather have, Simon? A top 5 left tackle or a top 5 wide receiver? I might go tackle.
Yeah, if you got those issues that Kyler Murray's had, you know, like I mean, I would probably, because they got Marquise Brown already, right?
Moore's a good player. You can pick these guys up, and good quarterbacks can make average wide receivers good. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess it's a greater possibility than happens because you get 3 quarterbacks, or Arizona takes the tackle, which is what I would do if I were them. And then, but fair warning, I'm the one that blasted Cincinnati for taking Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell. And both of them ended up being fantastic players, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Kind of the same argument, but you got to think that Joe Burrow wouldn't be the same if he didn't have that instant connection with Chase that helped him out. So, yeah, you know what? Chargers at 5. You got a chance to get here. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I mean, if he gets drafted there, is he a top first-round pick in best ball?
Second round, I'd say. Like, I don't know if, like, I'm sure the hype would get him to the first round, you know, but, yeah, because, I mean, we've seen what Keenan Allen consistently gets drafted, and Mike Williams consistently get drafted in the second, third rounds, and they obviously have, you know, injury-prone labels, and they always end up missing several games during the year, but, you know, Marvin Harrison, for the pedigree that he has and the hype around him, I wouldn't be surprised to see him creep into the first.
Let's assume you're at pick 11. Marvin Harrison gets drafted to the Chargers. Would you draft Marvin Harrison or Devontae Adams?
Harrison.
You would, huh?
Yeah, just like
crazy.
It's got the mystery box appeal to it, you know. Like, I'll tell you what's in the box, you know, instead of the guaranteed thing. But we've seen, like, Aiden O'Connell. Do you really want Aiden O'Connell like throwing to Devontae Adams? You know what I mean? And we'll talk about that next. I mean, that's our next.
Yeah, let's just segue right into it.
Yeah, so we got the Raiders. They got the number 13 pick. Head coach Antonio Pierce was hired as full-time coach now, and it was really, really pushed by the players to make that move. He is a motivational coach. He brings on Luke Getsy of the Chicago Bears as the offensive coordinator. Getsy moves on from the Chicago as the offensive coordinator of the Raiders. This is another potential team that Fields could end up on. I don't know what your thoughts are there with him and Getsy, their history. There was some turbulence there, but also, you know, like they seem to get along towards the end of it. But what do you think there on this team in general and the thinking of what's going to happen with the offense here?
So first of all, I love the hire, and I believe that when you evaluate this hire, you have to evaluate it with the fact that it allowed you to keep Patrick Graham as your defensive coordinator. And he's probably going to get hired away from us here pretty soon. But you look at what he built with that offense. This is the first time, I would say, since the mid-2000s that the Raiders have had an offense that I can be proud of. So you bring in, number one, I have no problem with the motivational coach. That's my number one guy, right? Like, the ideal is he turns out to be a Tomlin or a Vrabel or a guy that just gets stuff done. Let's go to the offensive side. At first, I wasn't sure of the hire. And I'll tell you what, I don't think there's any way that Justin Fields goes to Las Vegas. And here's the reason why. When they hired Getsy, I think when you make that hire, you're saying nobody could have made Justin Fields good. The guy can't get the run read, right? You know, he should have Greg Roman as offensive coordinator, and we should be running him into the ground and not worried about re-signing him and just, you know, treat him like a running back that can throw the ball. So I'm sure that he pitched to them, hey guys, if you let me run my offense for real, like I did in Green Bay, with Aaron Rodgers, with the quarterback that I can get through 3 progressions, it's going to look a lot different than it did with Mr. One and Done Reed. So when them hiring, I think that was like a referendum against Fields, because most likely you're going to have a young quarterback, and let's be fair, he failed to develop Justin Fields. That was his job as the offensive coordinator, and he failed to do it. So the referendum will be, is this guy simply not it? For example, Simon, if I was Johnny Manziel's offensive coordinator, does that mean I'm a bad offensive coordinator? I don't think anyone could have got that guy to be good, right? You can reincarnate Vince Lombardi. The guy wasn't watching film, he wasn't working hard, and he was doing drugs. Right? Jamarcus Russell, same deal. Like do you remember the old story about Jamarcus?
Just lazy. Yeah.
They sent him home. They said, go watch the tape.
Yeah.
And they didn't put anything on it. It was like cartoons or something. And he shows up the next day and they go, oh, what'd you think of the tape? He goes, yeah, it was good. I learned a lot, right? Let them know you didn't throw it in the VCR or whatever they used back then, right? Because we put a bunch of cartoons on this tape. So that's why I don't think Fields will end up there. Overall, I do like the hire, but with Harbaugh, with Reed and Mahomes being in their prime, and Harbaugh going to Los Angeles, you got to look at this as a 2 to 3 year rebuild. I think they'll be patient, and it signals to me that they're more likely to draft quarterbacks than to be in the sweepstakes for a free agent. The only free agent that I could see would be Russ. And here's the deal. You're getting him on a veteran minimum, so you can still draft a quarterback, right? It doesn't take you out of the quarterback sweepstakes like getting Kirk Cousins would. And probably pretty motivated to stick it to Denver, right? So you kind of get that built in. I've already been scouting. I've scouted against the Chiefs. I've scouted against the Chargers. It's not much of a move for my family. So maybe Russ there, but other than that, I think that they understand with this hire that their timeline's 2 to 3 years away, and they're going to draft and develop. So overall, I like the hire, though. A little disappointed that Harbaugh ended up in Los Angeles, but I wanted Pierce there, and I wanted to keep Patrick Graham.
Yeah, so we've gone through about 6 teams, only 2 offensive-minded head coaches so far. We're going to get into a few more offensive-minded head coaches. Before we do that, make sure to hit the like button. Looking for 20 likes to put out some shorter hit videos a little bit later on with specific players we can target and stuff like that. And also make sure to subscribe. Also, Spread, I think it's time to try to jump into one of these underdog drafts. And if you're watching this and you want to get into early drafting for the NFL, make sure to open up an underdog account. Use the promo code SEEK. They're going to match you up to $100 on your first deposit. You can also reach out to me on Twitter at PumaCom, and I'll hook you up with some rankings so that you can have some rankings to load into your underdog and have a little bit of guidance when you're drafting your teams there. So, Spread, let's jump into a big board here. Let's see. I'm going to go to the lobby. We'll see how long it's going to take for this to fill, and we'll cover some more coaching while we're waiting. But let's get into this now because I'm not sure how long it's going to take to fill. I'm going to hit...
Close. We're waiting for 3. Yeah, I just entered. We're waiting for 3.
Okay, perfect.
All right, we're only waiting on 1 now.
Yeah, 1 more to start.
Oh, we're starting. Wow. People are crafty. I thought we might be here for a half hour. All right, I'm at pick 5. You're at pick 9.
Okay. So, yeah, that's interesting. I thought for sure that we would have time to cover a couple more coaches, but let's cover it, I guess, while we're waiting on this draft to start here. We got the Tennessee Titans next. They bring on head coach Brian Callahan, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals. He was the offensive coordinator. Obviously, they've had a lot of success on the offense, but they have a lot of weapons. The Tennessee Titans do not. And he helped Cincinnati to 2 AFC title games and a Super Bowl. And, he joins them. He's worked with Peyton Manning, Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, Joe Burrow. Question's going to be is what can he do with Will Levis? What are your thoughts on that hire?
I was really surprised that they fired Mike Vrabel, and that wasn't due to his coaching expertise. It was CeeDee Lamb at number 1.
Wow.
You gotta be kidding me. If I'm at number 2, I'm loving life right now. Sorry, that threw me off. Going back to Callahan, feels like a good hire. Now, remember, his dad was the coach of my favorite team back when they were the Oakland Raiders and led them to the Super Bowl the year after John Gruden left and, failed in that endeavor, but that was tough, right? Did make some mistakes, though, not changing the audibles. I don't know how that happened. Jamar Chase over Tyreek Hill? Are you as surprised as I am by these?
Not really by Chase, honestly, because I think, obviously Chase was impacted by injuries this year. And we've seen Tua kind of just like crash and burn towards the end of the seasons. So I'm not really sure he can hold up a whole season and support a guy like Tyreek throughout the season. But I don't hate the Chase call over Hill because we don't know what's happening with T. Higgins yet either. So there's some of that mystery box again with Jamar Chase and the potential upside.
All right, Simon, I got a phone call real quick. I'm going to mute myself.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so we're coming up here on my pick at the 9th overall pick. We got Bijan still on the board. We got Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like both those guys. So it'll be interesting to see which one of those falls to me. I don't necessarily want to draft Puka Nacua this early, so I think I would lean more towards Gibbs as my first overall pick. Let's see. So I got Puka and Gibbs is ADP of 9 and 10. I think I'm going to go with Gibbs here. And we're going on to pick 10. Puka Nacua is the next one that I have available. And then in the 11th ADP, we got A.J. Brown. Still trying to figure out strategy and stuff here because this is my first time drafting this season. So I'm getting a look at ADP and everything for the first time. Kind of getting a feel. Glad that we just coming off the season, so we got all this stuff fresh in my mind, and I can kind of make judgment calls, just based on what we've seen throughout the season. Spread is coming up here pretty soon. Like he is, let's see, who did Spread take? Spread took.
I took Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. Okay, so Spread got a great pick on his first.
Number 5.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
I like Jefferson more than Chase and Lamb.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. Now, when you say he was crazy over Tyreek, I think he's crazy over taking him over Justin Jefferson.
You like Jefferson more than Tyreek?
I think I do, man. I just think that the offense, do you think that Kirk Cousins is coming back? What do you think is happening at quarterback there?
It's tough to tell, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would think that they would bring him back.
Yeah.
When making that pick, I'm assuming they bring him back because I don't want him with the rookie. Not where they're drafting. Let me pull this back up.
Yeah.
They're drafting at. Oh, never mind. They're drafting at 11. They can get an okay guy there.
Yeah. If it's Kirk that's coming back, then I like the pick better than Tyreek or Brown. Chase. But it's just kind of depends on how free agency shakes out, and what we see with Kirk Cousins. Because that's going to be the major decision maker for me. I'm sitting here at pick 16. Kyren Williams has fallen to me. I'm going to draft Kyren Williams here.
So you would pick running backs to start, huh?
Yeah, it's weird because I like to draft those wide receivers, but maybe I'll be able to find some value in wide receivers. And like I said, this is my first time drafting, so I'm kind of doing it on the fly and doing it as I'm talking through a show. Like those picks kind of worked best for me. I didn't want to draft Nico Collins there. I didn't want to draft A-Chain. Well, actually, I wouldn't mind A-Chain, but I didn't want to draft DJ Moore there. I don't know what's happening with his quarterback situation. We know
I
that
think it's going to be better, don't you?
Yeah, it probably.
I think that's why he's so high on this board.
Yeah.
Boy, I got some good options here. 19 seconds. I don't want to mess this up. All right, so I like Ayuk. I like Barkley. Now, let me look at the rest of the running back. So if I don't take Barkley here, yeah, don't you think it's a significant drop-off?
Yeah.
All right, let me close. I got 3 seconds left. Never mind. Barkley. Draft. Ah, dang it. I ended up...
Oh, no.
Yeah, Ayuk.
Oh, Ayuk?
I had Ayuk up there, too, as well.
Yeah. I don't hate Ayuk, but, I do think that, he's probably more of a third, fourth round. What do you think of that spread? Do you think that his ADP is way too high here?
No, I actually liked him. I had him queued up ahead of Barkley. So my queue was Ayuk and Barkley, and then I just kind of talked myself into it just looking at the couple left, right? Because look how many wide receivers I have that I still like on the board.
Yeah. Yeah,
there's a lot of running back. It feels like it's fallen off a little bit here after Saquon. I mean, Etienne's good. I have concerns about health. Pacheco. I like Pacheco a lot. That's another one that could be good.
Yeah.
Rashad White, we'll see if Baker doesn't come back. That's going to be a rough one. James Cook is much more attractive now that Joe Brady's the offensive coordinator. I love Kenneth Walker. I'll go back to him, right? That's probably who I'm targeting here. Also like myself some Jacobs, but he's a free agent as well. I know it says Las Vegas next to his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so. All right, so I'm looking here. Now, I could get lucky, but Saquon would have to go past 2 more people. Well, only 1 more person now. If I get Saquon, I'm going to be so happy. What do you think of Laporta being so high? Tight end 1 now?
I think that's a little bit too high for him.
Yeah.
Because as far as his receiving yards, he didn't even crack 1,000 in that first season. It takes a lot for a rookie tight end to crack it. He had a really good rookie tight end season. Obviously, he was a major get if you drafted him last season. You did a great job, but drafting him in the 3rd round seems way too early for me.
Yeah.
So we're coming up.
I ended up going 3 wide receivers. I don't like it, but since I missed out on the premium running backs, I'm going to just try and run it up here.
Yeah.
With some of these guys that are a little lower on the board. Like, look how low Nick Chubb is. Running back 19? That seemed crazy to you?
Yeah, Nick Chubb, coming off that ACL tear, though, it looked like a devastating injury, man. So
That must be it, but...
Okay, so I'm going to go with a quarterback here. I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts, I think.